Yes.
Yes. So, good evening,
Yes.
all the participants. On behalf of the PN Panika Foundation and the National Digital Library of India, we are very happy to invite for this webinar on the policy approach for the environmental protection and management. So, we have Dr. Afroz Ahmed with us, who is the advisor to the government of Maharashtra. May I request Balagopalji to introduce our guest for the
Yes.
session? Over to
No,
Balagopal.
Dr. Afroz Ahmad, I used to say he's the living legend of environment because we used to call him as the environment man of India because he was in the States and he was brought to the India by our Honorable Prime Minister uh, Manmohan Singh ji to make Narmada water project to control the Narmada water project of the government of India. And he, along with other scientists, he is on the way to make Narmada a real boon to the country. And he has been associated with the Ganga cleaning project also. And he is a scientist, and he was with the DST as the chairman of the chairman of the committee for science communication. And he is one of the now he is with the Maharashtra government as the advisor to their scientific issues, etc. And he in living in Indore, Indore in Madhya Pradesh. He takes much pain and not only much pain. He takes the people's movement in all his activities, because that's why we used to say the environment man, and he wanted this environment to be productive and useful to the mankind. And he will deliver a speech on this issue and the policy decision also. I welcome Dr. Afroz Ahmad, the living legend of environment, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Gopal Sahab. It is my pleasure to be a part of your program, and especially to share my views on a very important topic of today, also for the future, that is the environment. And especially I'm grateful to you for inviting me to be a part of this 25th PN Panikkar Reading Month celebration at a time when entire world is facing this corona pandemic. It is well known that corona has made serious socio-economic and cultural impacts on this planet Earth. No other disease other than this corona has attracted the attention of the people all over the world. And it will be surprising to know that about 1.6 billion people have faced or facing the problem of livelihood issue. And similar number of people, about 1.6 billion children and youths, are missing their education and not attending the schools or colleges. And about 265 million people, they are facing serious problem of food insecurity. So this pandemic has resulted serious socio-economic and cultural problem all over the world and in our country also. Now the policy and strategy has to be evolved to overcome before this pandemic situation at the front of the economy, at the front of the social sustainability in this country. As far as environment is concerned, man lived with this nature for centuries and has created a very harmonious landscape. Today, the population pressure, irrational use of natural resources has rendered this balance and this equilibrium in jeopardy. Now, worldwide, the natural resources have been utilized, modified, as well as replaced for the man's voracious needs and requirement. Let us take one by one the component of the environment, and let us think about the global climates that has major bearing to this pandemic also, major bearing for the economy of the country. And I must say that if you see the global greenhouses, if you compare the situation today, maybe the carbon dioxide, which was 265 part per million 300 years before, it is now about 415 part per million. Similarly, the nitrogen oxides, that has increased to 6%, and then methane also has increased about 1%. And in this manner, the greenhouse gases has resulted serious socio-economic problems all over the world. Now, if you think why these increases of greenhouse gases, which was in a balanced form in the entire world and created by Almighty, the reason comes the urbanization. The major factor is urbanization. If you think that in India, before, just after the independence in 1950s, we were having about 17% of the population residing in the urban area. Now we have about 30 to 35% population, people living in the urban area. So urbanization has increased tremendously. And the reason behind for increase in the population in the urban area is well known. Now, if you take the situation of the cities and towns, not much more before, I must say 20 years earlier, we were having about 32 to 33 cities having more than 1 million population. Now we have about 81 cities and towns in this country having more than 1 million population, and certain cities like Bombay, Chennai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, and you see the bigger city Delhi, they are having more than 1 crore to about 2 crore, approaching 2 crores population. Now, why I am emphasizing much more as a environmental scientist, I have seen that this pandemic has affected mostly the metropolitan areas. And the reason for this was, to my assessment, the poor condition of sanitation, hygiene in areas, and competition for water resources, poor water resources condition in the towns. And another important factor was that lack of oxygen, competition for oxygen. That is the most important factors for the spread of this pandemic. And I must say that reason behind that, the migration from the rural area and a big gap between rural areas and urban areas in country like our. The rural migration, why it takes place? That is the reason to be seen in a right perspective. And for urbanization also, I must say that there is need now, in the light of this pandemic, we should have a policy in this country to limit the size of the cities. We don't have any rules now. We should have a policy right now to limit the population of a city based on the carrying capacity concept, based on the socio-ecological concept. And on the basis of that, we will be able to overcome with this migration and limit of the urban population. Secondly, there is also need of a policy for especially the colonizers. They should at least reserve 5 to 7% land area where they are developing the colonies for the good plantation programs, not the exotic species of our decoration purpose. good plantation programs of indigenous species that are producing much more oxygen, like neem, our indigenous species, jamun. We should have people, bargad, and kadam, like this, whatever. And also some medicinal plants should be in the garden, that to be developed by each and every colonizer. That should be a policy for this country now. Now, migration, I would like to focus that migration is mainly in this country because of three important reasons. One reason is that the socio-economic reasons. The socio-economic reason is that you have large number of youth population in this country, approaching to 60% youth population in this country, the major workforce, and they have less opportunity in the villages for their survival, for their livelihood, for their economy. Secondly, in the rural areas, the infrastructure is lacking. Government has done a lot of works and is still doing a lot of work for increasing the infrastructure in the rural areas, but still the opportunity for the jobs, opportunity for the livelihoods is much more lacking in certain areas. And therefore, the people having no livelihood opportunity, poor wages in the rural areas, and secondly, the civic communities, like poor road condition in the village, no approach road, no proper infrastructures, and also the schooling facility, the medical facility are not available. So they compare with the urban areas, and that's why they migrate. They migrate abroad also for earning money in the Middle East countries. They migrate to big towns like Bombay, like especially the Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and migrating to other states for their livelihood and for earning much more. That is the reason. The second reason is a political reason, but that is not very relevant. It is only relevant in certain portion of our country, that because of some unrest in the area, because of some activities, violence in the area, or political upheavals, some migration takes place. But that is very, very meager. The third important reason for migration is ecological reason. The ecological reason is the land degradation. The land cannot support a better agriculture. Land cannot support better livelihoods. And also the water scarcity problems. Like you see the Kutch area of Gujarat, the Thar region of Rajasthan, why people have migrated? They migrated because land resulted to desertification, land degradation, water scarcity problems, and that's why they moved to other states like Maharashtra and to other part of the country for their betterment, for their livelihoods. So ecological reason is also one of the important factors for the migration. Now there is a need of the hour, and I must say what our Prime Minister has emphasized, that this is an opportunity we should overlook, and we should have this opportunity to focus much more for developing rural areas, for a better infrastructure, better civic communities, better facility of education, better facility for health, and better facility for livelihoods. Each house should be a production center. Whatever production they have, green jobs and nature related jobs should be there. So these types of approach is required, along with the skill development programs in the villages. That is most important. And large number of IITs should be open, ITIs should be open, and these ITIs should impart the proper training based on the skill of the people, and therefore occasional training must be implemented and in a larger manner in the villages. So villages should be developed in a proper manner, proper watershed management programs where people could be involved, and also the programs related to the forest development in the villages. So villagers should have the opportunity to avail a proper livelihood to check the migration. Only required migration should take place for the service purpose, for other purpose, for not a purpose to move from the rural area, having no livelihoods and coming to big town, big metropolitan cities and living in the slum areas. This pandemic has given a clear-cut message to the people, and the people has to think and also act accordingly. Now I am quoting an example to you that in Narmada, we have established about 240 new villages in Gujarat. Similarly, about 12 villages in Maharashtra, and also in Madhya Pradesh, about 88 villages. These are the people they have involuntarily displaced because of construction of the water resource, the dams. You will be happy to know that each village has been developed as a model village, having all civic amenities, electricity, dispensary, mobile health facilities. Even we have a novel approach of boat ambulance for providing health facilities, where in the past there was no any opportunity to extend the medical facility because of inaccessible areas. So these intervention has been done, especially in Maharashtra. Now these villages in Gujarat, I also like to quote a better education system. Each village having a better education system. Each village is having dispensary as well as mobile health clinics. And also each family has a health card. That is one of the intervention required. And I also appreciate the Honorable Prime Minister that when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, this intervention has taken place. So in his leadership, we could succeed to have a health card in the rural areas, first time in the country. Now take another aspect, that is agriculture and the land resource, that is most important component of the environment, that is land resource. In the land resource, India ranks 7th in the world, and in agriculture we rank 2nd after America. But I must say to you that now the productivity we are producing, the food grains, that is sufficient to meet the requirement 293 million ton food grains, but we need to produce 335 million ton food grain by 2030. This is the major challenge for the government, how to ensure the food security in the country. And therefore, it is urgently needed to have a better agriculture programs, better infrastructure in the agriculture, because it is providing 50% of the workforce, the agriculture alone. Now the land resource, I must say, that is the most important resource. Now, land is also a sink of carbon. That carbon credit, carbon sequestration takes place. But in the past, I think 30 to 40 years, it is surprise, and it is very important to know that agriculture was contributing 42% of the GDP in 1990, means 30 years back. Now this contribution of agriculture is now 17 to 80%, 18% only. What is the reason? This migration. There is no people to work in the fields now. The fields are abandoned in the villages now. And therefore, there is an urgent need to have an independent ministry or department in each state governments to deal with this people's movement and for better relief and rehabilitation of the people who are moving voluntarily also. So these departments like Maharashtra has the relief rehabilitation department, they take care of displacement of the people from various projects. So other states should also have relief rehabilitation department, especially to deal with people's movement, migration, and to take care of their livelihood issues. And each district should have such types of officer to deal with relief and rehabilitation programs, which happened during this pandemic era. That large number of peoples from Uttar Pradesh, from Bihar, from Odisha, they had migrated from big cities. I mean, they were returning to their hometowns and facing the problems. So such types of infrastructure is now need of the hour to be created. There is also need to create health facilities in the villages. Each panchayat should have at least better laboratory diagnostic system to diagnose the diseases prevalent in the area. And they have better facilities of, I mean, prescribing the proper medicine to the people. So they should have the security of the food. They should have security of education. They have security of health. So migration could be stopped and better future for the children. Now let us come to agriculture, the other aspect of agriculture that needs to be taken care of now in this pandemic era. The animal husbandry. It was having enormous scope in this country. It is surprised to know that 25% cattle of the world is available in our country. We have beautiful physiographic regions supporting lot of vegetation, lot of fodders availability for meeting the requirement of these animals. But unfortunately, except Gujarat, this Amul movement, no other state could take up it properly. So there is a need to have better dairy development programs, better programs for animal husbandry, because it can generate enormous employment to the people, especially the youths in the rural areas. Other aspects of economy related to agriculture is the fisheries development, that is value regulation. It is known for this country that we are very much blessed, we are very much enriched with the water resources, maybe river ecosystem, maybe lake ecosystem, maybe wetlands, maybe village ponds. We have enormous potential to develop the fishery in this country to meet the requirement of the people. Fishery was earlier contributing 1% of the GDP of this country. There is a need to enhance, to increase. I am quoting to you some intervention was made by us in case of Narmada. When reservoir was created, about 200 kilometer long reservoir was created. In Maharashtra, we implemented some cage fishing programs, especially for those population who are living in the villages. Some portion of the villages, some houses of the villages have been displaced and they have been resettled, but still 50% population, somewhere 70% population are still residing in the original villages. Because of this displacement and infrastructure disturbances, they were having lot of problems of livelihoods. They were migrating to Gujarat, they were migrating to Maharashtra. But because of intervention of fishery development through cage fishing in the reservoir, I'm quoting to you that 10 cooperatives have been established. Now each cooperative is producing about 20 to 25 lakh rupees per annum, the income to the cooperatives. Now migration has stopped. Now the people are not migrating areas and a better economy had been ensured, and they are now better off. They are joining main countries' life and the development of the main countries. So in this manner, a small intervention can do lot of changes and lot of scopes is available, especially for checking the migration of the people and in the era of this pandemic. The poultry, the backyard poultry, that has enormous potential, about 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per month, and economy can be generated. Similarly is the case from the piggery, that is only limited to northeast region. It can be extended to other areas, at least production and then export and to other countries. Similar is the case for poultry and goatry. These are the important things, but for that a policy intervention is there already, and much more strengthening is required, that a microfinances should be available to the villagers to start this business. And I think government has taken a very good initiative under the MSME programs for such types of business in the villages to make it more sustainable. And Secondly, the infrastructure in the villages is required, transportation facilities, marketing facilities for these agricultural produce and related agricultural produce to make more sustainable the rural economy. Let us come to the water. I must say to you, the most important component of the environment is the water. And in the water, if you take the ocean, that is very important, that regulate your climate, that regulate to your weather patterns, and that is the life for the human survival and all living beings. 50% oxygen is generated from the ocean, and 50% carbon dioxide is also stored in the ocean. That is a sink for the carbon. Now, ocean situation is not good. At least 10 tons per day garbage is being dumped to the ocean. Ocean is being used for reclamation purpose, for urbanization. That should be stopped in entire world. Also, there is a need to have a breakthrough for the marine environment protection and management in entire worlds, including our country. Let us take to other resources of the water, maybe the surface water. India is very much blessed with the river systems. We have most important 3 mountain systems or watershed that are providing the water to the country. That is the Himalayas. Then you have Satpura and Vindhyachal mountains. Then you have the eastern and western Ghats. These are the important mountain range created by Almighty to meet the requirement of the water for this country. But it is very important to know that 60% water is available only to Ganga and Brahmaputra and the Barak basin. The rest 40% is available to other river basins. We have 20 river basins in this country. But you will be happy to know that government has taken very good initiative to manage the water resources, and I think still much more is required to be done. Out of 20 river basin, 50% river basin is facing the problem of water scarcity as well as the problem of poor quality of the water in the river system. There is a conflict already on the water for the sharing of the water, because water being a state subject, except the interstate rivers. So there is a need to manage the water resources properly. You will be happy to know that water, which was available to 5,000 cubic meter per capita per annum in the 50s, now it is very sad to know that we have only 1,300 cubic meter per capita per annum by 2025. So this is very alarming and grim situation as far as water is concerned. The groundwater, that is the reserve for the planet. And in this country, you know that 21 states had already gone to dark region. Means the water has gone very much deeper to the aquifer. The water which was available to 100 feet to 200 feet, it has gone to 800 to 900 feet now. So that is very alarming situation to manage the groundwater as well as the surface water. I must say that policy intervention is required to that we should have a multidisciplinary river basin authority in each state as well as the center also for interstate rivers. And this multidisciplinary authority should be given the mandate, a time-bound mandate for resolution of the dispute for any water resources in this country to manage the water resource. Now, after the water, I would like to focus on most important component of the environment, that is the forest. You know that 65% forest of the world is available only in 10 countries. Russia is number. Our country is one of them. Brazil is one of them. Most of the tropical forest, 50% tropical forest, which are very rich in biodiversity, we have lost. Every minute in the world, we are losing 85 hectares of the forest per minute in the world. We will be glad to know that forests in the world, they are major sink of the carbon. like ocean. 50% carbon is available in the forest as well as the soil. $16.2 billion, trillion dollar, $16.2 trillion, that is the economic value of the forest that is generating every year. 1 trillion carbon is stored in the forest, in the globe. That is more than 1.3 time higher than the reserve that is available in the natural reserve. The carbon is available. So forest, the economical value, the environmental value that is not marketed also, that is enormous. About 3 to 4th area of this planet have access of the water from the forest, because rivers originating from the headwater regions that is having inhabited with the good forest cover, they are providing the water, except the glaciers and all that. Now that's why forests play a very important role in this pandemic era. I can visualize that forest can solve the problem of unemployment also and provide lot of livelihood, and natural resource related this opportunity can come, that forest can play a very important role. In our country, we have 24.5% of the forest cover. It is increasing, no doubt, but there is a need to have a better management of the forest and better development of the forest with indigenous species. And we have to cover more area, the common property resources, especially in the villages, in the towns. We should have to launch a massive program of urban forestry. We have to launch massive program of agroforestry. We have launched a lot of programs of private gardens. And therefore, we should have a policy. We should have a policy for incentive to those people who are maintaining their private forest. We should have an incentive for those who are maintaining their private forest, as well as if they are growing the forest, they should be encouraged for that they should be able to manage their forest and they can get the benefit of the forest, rather than they should not be allowed to cut the forest. There should be some policy intervention is required. I must say, in Maharashtra, the government has relaxed the condition that if you grow the forest in your area, you will be allowed to cut the forest and generate revenue. Same time, in certain areas, there is also a policy that if you have a good forest cover, good canopy cover, old forest, you will be given some soft loan or some incentive that you should not cut the forest to maintain the carbon level as a sink, and your necessity will be fulfilled. So these types of small intervention is required, and I must say that government is doing a lot of work for this, and they will definitely achieve to create a lot of employment to the people. There is a need that after this pandemic, the rural area people as well as in urban area people should be involved, especially for the employment, for the restoration of the forest, for the rehabilitation of the forest, for the afforestation of the area, for the reforestation in the area. These massive programs, and I'm sure that government has allocated a lot of funds for these purposes. This need to be translated properly, implemented properly in the area to make the forest cover on one hand, and to guarantee the employment to the rural poor and rural people as well as urban people and urban poor who are having problems in livelihoods. So in this manner, the forest can play a very important role. With these, I must say that land resource, we should have a policy. Government, I appreciate the initiative taken by Honorable Prime Minister that you should have a land health cards. So it is very important that land play a very important role. And I must like to quote to you that in Raigad district of Maharashtra, a farmer, a very progressive farmer, has developed a technology of rice cultivation that is called Saguna rice technology. and by that they are not having a tillage to the soil. If you use the machinery for plowing, lot of carbon is released. So he is preserving that carbon, and his estimate says that 1% increase in the carbon is able to fix 18 ton carbon in the soil. And mulching and all that play a very important role for the health of the soil. So in nutshell, the all component of the environment may be atmosphere, maybe land, maybe forest, maybe water, maybe groundwater, all are interrelated, and a very important complex part of the ecosystem that is need to be preserved, that is required to be managed. And I must say that the resources available in this country should be utilized, and already the government is taking initiative for meeting the food requirement, the energy requirement, developing the renewable source of energy like solar energy. Enormous potential we have, because if we have to intensify agriculture, we have to have energy also for that purpose. And that's why that types of energy should be developed, and these rural and urban people should be given the employment and livelihood through that. In nutshell, I must say that the state of environment clearly indicates that socially, economically, culturally, politically, and environmentally, it is unsustainable. The state of environment is unsustainable. And there is a need of the hour that we should have an integrated approach for management of the resources, because environment being our common future, we all share the responsibility to manage and protect it. And I think with this, we can do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful and
Thank you very
insightful session. So it's time for questions. So can we take few questions from the participants?
Thank you very much.
Yes. So there is a question from Ms. Pragyan Baisha.
Yeah.
Sir, water is life. Why are polluted water inlets entering Yamuna and Brahmaputra not treated?
Yeah, can you repeat?
So her question is, why are the polluted waters are entering into Yamuna and Brahmaputra without being treated?
Yeah, that's very important. I think each and every water, like Ganga, we are focusing much more. There is a need to focus other rivers also. Whatever the water is available, generated from the town, cities, as I have told clearly to you, before getting discharged, it has to be treated properly, and polluters pay principle should be there. Who is polluting the water? They should be made accountable for that. That is very important, and we should have a strict regulation for that. We have already, enforcement is required.
Yes, sir. So there is a question from Mr. Santosh Kumar Sham. So his question is, what is the future of rural and ecotourism in India? What do you think are the startup ideas in this field?
This is, I must say, a very important question because of time constraint. Ecotourism potential is enormous in this country. I think we have to think about that. Like game fishing, we have enormous potential. We have a lot of wetlands in this country, and I could not touch that one. But surprised to know that it is being misused, encroached, and polluted. So, lot of tourism potential could be developed related to the forest. Lot of tourism potential could be developed related to the related to game fishing and with the nature, and also with the wilderness in the area. Enormous potential is available in this country, and that need to be expanded. That is need of the hour after this pandemic. Yeah.
Sir, the question is, Uh,
Yeah.
so we have sewage treatment plants in the urban areas. Do you think is it useful in the rural areas as well?
Which treatment? Water treatment.
Sewerage treatment plant, STPs.
Treatment. Yeah. Actually, urban system, it should be compulsory, no doubt about that. But in the rural areas, because rural economy, rural settlement is like that, if it is in the hill areas, there is no need of such sewage, and that sewage generated is not toxic. That is generally, if you add to agricultural field also, it gives some, manure to the area, some nutrients to the soil. And I think if it is a big rural area, then there is required, but I feel that much more focus should be, priority should be in the urban area for the sewage treatment, because rural areas, they are not releasing their sewage to the water bodies or to any other places.
Sir, I have a question personally. So actually,
Yeah.
because of this pandemic, so a lot of
Uh,
economic activities have come slowed down, and the
yeah.
development, all infrastructure development has also gone down. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, if you look at the environment, be it Ganga, Yamuna, or even the ozone layer,
Hmm.
there are scientific evidences that there is very less pollution in these rivers, as well as the ozone layers. That black hole is also getting filled up. Uh,
Yeah.
what is your opinion on this, sir?
Yeah, it is very, very, very relevant. I really appreciate your question. Actually, this pandemic has given a message, a signal to the people how to live, how should be the human behavior. That is very important. And I think we should not forget it, because it is the disease or pandemic. It has attracted attention of the globe. No other disease has or infection has that. This pandemic has resulted improvement in the atmospheric pollutions. This have improved the water quality in the rivers. This has improved the forest growth. This has improved the intervention in the forest, wildlife. This has resulted lot of control of pollution because of vehicular traffics. And I must say that people should now think to have another community, that I wanted to share to you, that a sustainable society. A society should be established now by its own, by behavior of the people, that they should be socially responsible, socially accountable. They should be much more God-fearing now. They should be looking to the environment as a God. And that is possible because this pandemic has given a clear-cut message to the society that peace has to be established, inequality has to be eradicated, poverty has to be overcome, and you have to respect the democracy, and you have to secure fundamental human rights, and lastly, you have to conserve the nature and the environment. So I must say, I appreciate you that in a nutshell, in the crux, this pandemic has given a clear-cut message to entire words. And I would like to quote and to say that we should know how to behave on this earth before reaching to the moon, before reaching to the space. How do we behave on this planet Earth? And how we have to respect this entire creation of the Almighty. That is a clear-cut message from the Almighty to the whole human beings, highly evolved origin of the Almighty on this earth, that how you can create a society, a responsible society to respect this planet for the survival of the present generation as well as the future generation.
So one last question. This question is from Dr. V. Batmavati. Her question is there any provision for an individual or a group for afforestation in public landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. Government is encouraging. That is the private partner participation, the people's participation. What Gopal Sahab has also mentioned in the introductory remarks, that government will be very happy. And I must say that the people should adopt, if they have their own land, if not in others' land also, some plantation programs. And that's why I want and to share with you that government should have some relaxation, that if any person is doing plantation activities, he should be given the incentive, and also he should be allowed to cut their forest. At the same time, he has to raise another plantation program, because unless otherwise attachment is there, economical benefit is there, people will be difficult for the people to accept it. So I think they can, or he or she can take the afforestation programs. Government will provide necessary inputs. And I must share with this question that government should also open nursery in each panchayat. That is need of the hour. Each panchayat should have a nursery of the saplings of the tree species that is locally available, and they should encourage to the people to take up their saplings to plant in their lands, on the agricultural bunds, in the open areas, in the community lands, because it is need of the hour. This pandemic has also proved, I would like to share, that the area where dense forest is available, this pandemic has less impact. The reason is that is very clear, that is affecting the respiratory systems, the oxygen intake facility or intake capacity of the human being. Now, if you have much more oxygen, this pandemic has very, very less impacts. And that is the reason now that you should have much more green cover, even in the colonies, in the towns, in the cities where you are living. You will not find any good plantation in the colonies except few one. They have some exotic species to look green, the colony, for attracting the people to take that greenery is there. But we should have to have indigenous species develop in the colonies and have more oxygen in the area.
Sir,
Anything else?
sir, I have I am adding this your point now emphasized. So now
Yeah.
there's a Miyawaki forest have come, and we are
Yeah.
also taking some steps.
Yeah.
And pretty careful. It's also some step, because
Yeah.
with the small cover, 5 cents to 10 cents, we can start up forest with the people's participation. And my point is, sir, how we can suppose we take up it as a startup for the youngsters, how we can derive some profit out of it, because without profit it will not be sustainable. So this Miyawaki system, now it is coming to India only just now, and Bangalore they have started. In Kerala we have started the exercise, and you being a man for liquid for the environment, I want your intervention, sir.
Yeah, that's very good, Gopal Sahab. I think in Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai area, some very urban areas that had already started, and people are encouraging it. And I think that is need of the hour, that we have to adopt, especially in the such an area, these systems. And it should be linked with the incentives. That policy intervention is required by the governments. And I think Maharashtra has already done that, that if you have your own tree, own plantation, you can cut down the TP, that is transport permit, will be allowed by the forest departments by showing the details of the plantation, and you can have good earning from the your trees or your forest. So unless economically it is linked, it will be very difficult. Like joint forest management system, wherever there was restriction, it has not worked very well, but in certain areas it has worked very well. That joint forest management system, the people are generating lot of income from forest produce, and they are economically better off. So that economical aspect should be, I mean, linked to that any program or any policy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gopal Sahab. And
it was a wonderful presentation, and you made everybody to go to the forest.
I really appreciate that the occasion was P.N. Panikkar Foundation and P.N. Panikkar Foundation. I really appreciate that he was father of library movement and great educationist. And this library, I also mentioned that each village also in entire country should have a library of local dialect books, maybe agriculture, maybe plantation forestry and all that. That is need of the hour. And in this pandemic, this message should also go that the vision and you can say the mission of P.N. Panikkar should be propagated as a library, maybe digital library, maybe physical library in each village of this country, especially the relevant books on agriculture, for forestry, for water management, that people can have use of that and can implement in their day-to-day life of agriculture, plantation and all that. And I'm really grateful to you, Gopal sir, for giving me the opportunity for sharing my views on this 25th P.N. Panikkar's reading celebrations in the name of a person who was a great philanthropist, who played such an important role, who has empowered the people. The education is a fundamentals for development of individuals as well as for the society. So thank you once again to you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of your programs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Over to Dr. Vignesh, because he's the man who is directing all these things. Vignesh ji.
So, and I will be happy if you share this link to me. I mean, after
Yes. No, sir, it is YouTube. We are giving in, we are live. It is going live in YouTube. Tomorrow you can go to the YouTube and see the presentation.
So take care of our health and we pray for your good health, because you have done great work, not only for Kerala, for entire country. And I pray for you and also pray Almighty on this occasion that this pandemic should normalize and people should start their works. And I hope that it will take place by grace of Almighty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.